it is adaptive sports, but it is sport, and they are athletes.
Yeah.
So, they're putting the time and energy in, they're practicing, they're competing.
This is so exciting. You guys have the 2025 World Paravolley Sitting Volleyball World Cup.
Bit wordy, isn't it? So we've got 20 teams total. We're going to have 6 women and 14 men. But then we have international referees coming from, I think, 25-ish different countries. So,
we have that goal of making them be as independent as possible and giving them the high quality of life. I say you can feel, you can see just the passion that all the employees have.
I saw that you brought a ball.
yes, sir.
I'm so excited about this.
This is the international standard ball for sitting volleyball.
Oh, wow.
You're listening to the NEI Pioneer Podcast. This show is all about telling the authentic stories of the people of our region. Joining us in the studio today is Michelle Kimpel and Reggie Beer from Turnstone. Turnstone's mission is to empower those with disabilities to achieve their highest potential by providing comprehensive programs and services. Michelle and Reggie have been working hard on the 2025 World Paravolley Sitting Volleyball World Cup that is coming to their facilities starting October 12th. This prestigious international event will bring nearly 500 officials, athletes, and delegates from about 25 countries to Northeast Indiana. Not only is it the first time this World Cup has been held in Northeast Indiana, it's the first time it's been held in all of the United States. If after this conversation you would like to learn more about Turnstone, the World Cup, and how to get involved, be sure to check the links in the description. But for now, let's jump into the episode.
You guys, I got to tell you, I am super excited to have you guys here today. And who we've got is Reggie Beer and Michelle Kimpel. And they're from Turnstone. And I have to tell you, you guys, I don't know how much you've ever looked into my background. You should. It's very interesting.
There you go. I'll do that right after this.
I'll see. Criminal record. No, but anytime we can help people, or we can help people with disabilities, or we can magnify them, that means a lot to me. And there's a story on one of my websites, jonathansackett.com, where I talk about Superman. And it's a figurative thing because in college we worked, I can't remember if it was the national or the regional finals for the Special Olympics. And I became lifelong friends with some of the competitors. Okay. And so I wrote, and Eddie was a big fan of Superman. So it's not like I'm this comic book nerd, which people jump to right away. But because of that impacting me at a very young age, it's meant a lot to me. And I carry that with me wherever I go, that mentality. We lost Eddie. But just the thought of helping somebody and giving them a helping hand is my wheelhouse. So thank you guys for what you do. I really appreciate it. And I know the community does as well. So if you guys don't mind, can we just get a quick background from both of you? Reggie, maybe start with you.
Yeah, so Reggie Beer at Turnstone, I serve as the sport event coordinator. So I coordinate and do all of our camps, tournaments, clinics, as well as I'm overseeing the World Paravolley World Cup here in October.
Which is what we're mostly going to focus on today, by the way, which, again, very excited about. You have sports in your background?
Yep, so grew up playing actually hockey was my main sport. Before coming to Turnstone, I actually worked in D1 athletics. I was the equipment and game day person for PFW here in town. So transitioned to adaptive sport.
Tough gig.
About a year ago. It was a tough gig, but great people over there. Really enjoyed it, but have found the new passion for sure.
Oh, that's great. Michelle?
Yes, I want to start off. Thank you for having us, and thank you for putting people with disabilities as such a high. That's great to hear.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I appreciate that.
And I have to tell you, look, I got goosebumps right now. My whole team, we were thrilled to get you guys on here. And when we had that call with you guys about what you were doing, right away I jumped into planning mode, and oh my God, we could do this. You guys are like, look, we're down the road here, guy. We got a lot to do. So.
That's okay. Michelle Kimpel, I am the Director of Sports and Recreation. Been born and raised in this area, actually New Haven, so just outside of Fort Wayne. Been with Turnstone almost 26 years, so...
No way.
Yes
Unheard
way. Yeah, I started at 4 years old. No.
Yeah. I was in the womb, and I thought Turnstone is where I'm going to... Okay.
But yeah, and been with the sports and rec program specifically since 2016, and have just seen a lot of fantastic things happen. The program has grown We had an international event here in Fort Wayne back in 2019, so it's great to see something at that elite level coming back to our city.
What was that event?
In 2019, it was the International Blind Sports Federation. It was goalball and judo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this time it'll be sitting volleyball. So it's a whole new national governing body, new sport, but excited to have that culture experience here in Fort Wayne again.
Yeah, I got to tell you, if I didn't know this was as big as it was. I didn't know when we first started talking about it. Obviously, the team and I were doing our research. We're like, oh my God, this is so cool. But would you mind, before we get into that too much, would you mind giving an overview of Turnstone? And I'm more curious as to not only the overview of Turnstone itself, but what you've seen the changes in 26 years of being there.
A lot. We don't have enough time to go for all the changes in 26 years. Yeah. So Turnstone is a nonprofit, standalone. We often get the question, are there other Turnstones in the country? Yeah. There's very similar organizations, but we are the one and only Turnstone. We celebrated, we're 80 plus years here in Fort Wayne. Actually started in a 2-story house in downtown. The property that we're currently at on North Clinton, we've been there since 1985, I think is when they purchased the property. Infrastructurally, we've grown, but programs, staff, everything has grown because of that.
How many employees do you have now?
Oh, they just hold like
100, 120-ish.
Yeah,
no way.
Around
Total?
there.
Wow.
Yeah. And that varies from like seasonal, part-time, full-time, all across the board there. We have core programs. So like we have our sports and recreation program. We also have fitness and aquatics. We have our Kimpel Early Learning Center, which is inclusive childcare. We have adult day services and memory care. From the medical standpoint, we have adult and pediatric, physical, occupational, and speech therapy. I could go on. We have equipment loan, so you don't even have to be a Turnstone client. But if you have a family member who needs a wheelchair or crutches, we have that on hand.
Wow.
So yeah, it's just been phenomenal how things have changed, and it's all purposefully. So it's, what our clients telling us that they don't have, or what resources aren't available. And then obviously what kind of trends, best practices are out there, that we could do better or actually provide if they're not getting it already. So when you say grow, we've grown, but all with purpose and staying mission and vision focused.
Wow. And, the We Create Possibilities, how long have you guys been using that?
I'm trying to think. I think it was around 2012 when we rebranded.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that kind of came the tagline. The Creating Possibilities. In fact, as soon as you walk into the building, as you're approaching our main lobby, it's nice and big right there, Creating Possibilities. Yeah. So everybody sees it when they come to visit.
That's great. My background is big ad agencies. So when I saw your guys' positioning and I looked you up, I really liked it. So that I don't know if that's high praise or if that's whatever. But for what's that saying, I just thought you guys did a really good job on that.
The rebrand, I'll explain a little bit. So
yeah, please.
Turnstone, if you're not familiar, is actually a shorebird. And so the turnstone part came from, because as a turnstone bird goes to eat, they have to flip rocks over, to find their meal. But if they have problems or if it's a challenge, other turnstones come in and help them. And so that's kind of where that originated from, that we all come together to help our clients in the community. And then when we rebranded, now you see kind of the wheel, the yellow and the blue kind of intermixed. And that was actually to kind of show a wheel with spokes, again, kind of reflecting on how everything comes together, but also the wheel to show the evolution and the changing through time, too. So,
who came up with that, the original Turnstone?
Oh, gosh, that was a long time ago.
Well, you were there, weren't you?
Not when the name came about, no.
That was 80 years ago, dude. No.
Yeah, it was, I think, a board member or someone maybe at that time,
That's
if I recall.
Thinking.
Yeah,
I love it.
Very so it was awesome.
Well, and then, so how did the sports thing ever come into this? Or was it kind of a part of the DNA?
It was one of the programs that started later. So that was in the 1990s when we started the sports. It started off we had just one gymnasium, and as it grew, everything was out of that one gym. So as we grew sports, as we started hosting tournaments, you would have to clear everything out of the gym. And then once it was over, put everything back in the gym. So that went on for many years. And then the sports and rec program was one of the faster growing programs as well. And we did need more space. So currently we have the Plasman Athletic Center. And that was due to all of that. It ended up being one of those things that I think a board member challenged one time, like, what would you do if you had $1 million? Well, you ask somebody that question, you get a really long list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But again, circling back to the need and the purpose, that's why we have it. We have this Plasma Athletics Center now, which is beautiful. And actually, we just celebrated that 10th anniversary. It's hard to believe we've had that long.
I've only seen the pictures, but but we did get press passes for this event from you guys.
There you go. You'll get to see it in person.
Yeah. The team's really excited about it.
Yeah.
So the sports thing comes into it. Did you guys ever think about, or have you ever partnered with other programs like, what's the one I just mentioned? I'm sorry.
Special Olympics?
The Special Olympics. Anything like that? Do they?
Yeah.
They do partner with you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that work? How does a partnership work for something like that?
Yeah, from different levels. So, I mean, they have their own programming that they also offer. And so I know they do use our space for their programs.
Okay.
I know they have basketball groups there a few times throughout the week, which that'll actually be starting here pretty soon. But we also recently started a program with them, part of their strategic plan, as they just launched this past year, was a young athletes program. So we're actually one of those sites now for that.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a partnership that has grown over the years.
Is it ever a frenemy situation at all?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because partnerships and collaborations, I think, just make it stronger and it's become a great resource. So we've purposefully have offered programming around those days and times as well. So, for example, the young athletes is for ages 2 through 7, but to become an athlete or sports and Special Olympics, you have to be 8 years old. So the purpose is trying, to expose them, and that way, if they're interested, they can continue on. So, then let's have this program on the night that they're here, so then parents and kids can kind of see, you could be doing this someday.
Oh, that's great. It sounds like you guys are goal in mind through partnerships, and I think that's awesome. So, Reggie, I wanted to ask you, how did you end up joining these guys? How did that come? Where were you before?
Yep, so I was at Purdue Fort Wayne, was there both as a student and a full-time employee for about 7 to 8 years, roughly, working in the athletic department over there.
There's a joke in there somewhere that it undergrad for 8 years, right?
I eventually graduated.
Well, I think that was from Tommy Boy, where he goes, yeah, I would. A lot of people go to school for 8 years. He goes, yeah, they're called doctors.
Too good. But no.
And how did you know of these guys?
So actually I played high school hockey here in Fort Wayne, was blessed enough when I was in high school. USA Hockey does a loaner sled program where they have a big trailer of hockey sleds that they can bring and have people be able to try the sport. My team was blessed enough. We were able to come out and we played against the Turnstone team in high school, and we got our butts kicked.
Really?
It was eye-opening, and it was a great experience. So when I was looking potentially to move away from D1 athletics, I had an opportunity to join Turnstone and had to jump at it. Have been very blessed. Great people. Great place to work, and the clients, I think, that's what makes it worth it. For sure.
I mean, I got to tell you, just as an outsider, stellar reputation. Everybody knows Turnstone here. Yeah. So, and now we know where it got the name too. So that's very important. Can you guys talk a little bit about? So we touched on a little bit about the sports that you offer. Can we talk about the sports you offer and what you think you might be adding or moving towards?
So we do offer sports at all levels, whether it's just recreational, if there's someone who wants to try something for the first time, grassroots, all the way to competitive level. Competitive, I say, kind of compares to your travel club teams. Because a wheelchair basketball team here in Fort Wayne has to travel at least 2-3 hours away to be able to play another comparable team. So there's a lot of buy-in with that too. And I also like to promote, that it is adaptive sports, but it is sport, and they are athletes.
Yeah.
So, they're putting the time and energy in, they're practicing, they're competing. But it's great that we have that opportunity that you can start at the level, but we also have the resources. If somebody has that goal or ambition to become an elite athlete, we have those resources as well. So competitively, we offer sled hockey, as Reggie mentioned, also wheelchair basketball. We have wheelchair rugby, power soccer, track and field. From a recreational level, though, we offer a whole multitude of different things. And, for moving into the future, we're always reviewing what do we offer now, what are people interested in. Like years ago we had tennis, but the interest kind of fell. But this year we brought it back and had probably the biggest group ever who joined us for tennis. So you just have to go, you just go with the flow and what people's interests are, and we kind of work off of that.
Yeah, I love it. I think because I ran track through college, and that's part of when you get money from the university to compete. And this was before what they do now, by the way. But when you get when the school gives you money to compete, they give you jobs, right? And usually it's ridiculous. Here, Sackett, go watch the sprinklers turn on and here's your check. But when I got the opportunity for the Special Olympics track and field, that was a dream. Because I think it takes a certain temperament to get into the industry that you guys are in. I think you have to have a certain understanding of human nature. And I think if you guys wouldn't mind talking about that a little bit, just because I don't think that career path is for just anybody. I think it takes a special talent and a special skill set and a special mentality.
Do you want to start with that one?
How's that for
that's a big
question. Here, give it to we'll give it to you.
Reggie, you go first.
I think the biggest thing with people who work in our realm is just having a servant mindset.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest part. Whether it's a client just stopping in to say hey, or they have something big going on, just being able to have that in the back of your mind, to be able to drop it and be able to give them attention and give them what they need in that moment, as well as the relationships you build from that as well. I think that is one of the biggest things about this, in my personal opinion.
I mean, to me, it's like, I hate to call it bedside manner, but I'm dealing with some things with my parents right now. They're getting up there. And I'll tell you, somebody who's passionate about being a physician when they come in the room. Because right away they'll introduce themselves to the family. Oh, you're the son, you're the whatever, and they walk you through the process. There's an inherent difference between that and somebody who's just doing it for the job.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys run across that.
Yeah.
Do you have a hard time recruiting?
No, I don't
Really?
think so. Yeah. Turnstone's a nonprofit, so people are there because that's where they want to be and that's what they want to do.
Are you a C3? Or
Yeah, 501c3.
Okay.
Yes. So you can, I say you can feel, you can see just the passion that all the employees have when they're there. You mentioned your parents. Through all the programs that we offer there, we can cover a whole life spectrum. So, we have therapy who see down to like infants and toddlers, but we also have programs that have the elderly too. So, you're dealing with different parts of their life and different stages. And is it someone who is born with a disability or did they acquire it later in life? So there's a lot of background that goes into that, but the passion is still there. And I think that's just, even like staff retreats, anytime our staff is together, you hear and see that all the time. Like, I'm here for the passion I have for these clients that come here. We have that goal of making them be as independent as possible and giving them the high quality of life. So that definitely is why we're there.
Wow.
Jumping in here to shout out one of our podcast sponsors, Sweetwater. Now, just for some reference, without Sweetwater, our podcast would sound something like this. It would also look something like this. Enough of that. Sweetwater is the nation's largest destination for music gear, as well as your one-stop shop for all things podcasting. We personally worked with them to fill out this studio, and I can say from experience, they are the friendliest team to be working with. You can receive personalized gear advice as well as technical support to get your gear up and running. We honestly cannot recommend them enough. So if you're a music person, a content creator, a podcaster, etc., make sure to check them out in the description below.
So now we're going to get into the real part of this. We know who Turnstone is. We know who you guys are. This is so exciting. You guys have the 2025 World Paravolley Sitting Volleyball World Cup.
A bit wordy, isn't it?
Hey, let me read that again. But it's so exciting because look at I got goosebumps again.
Yes.
Because we and the team were watching it. I had never really seen that before, and I didn't know what it was. I mean, I could guess by the name. It's pretty specific. But when we were watching it, it was exciting. It was really exciting to watch because it's almost like adding another level of challenge to sport.
Yes.
Right? And I'll tell you something that I'm not going to get choked up here because I was getting close. When I was doing the Special Olympics stuff, when I see them coming and I would see somebody get hurt and somebody would stop and go back and pick them up.
Yep.
And I would see that type of camaraderie. You do not see that much in sport, in collegiate, in professional, in high school. You don't see it. And I think that's what's wonderful about this. It seems to breed this camaraderie that doesn't exist in in regular sport, I guess I should say. So can we talk about this? What's a better, more concise way to say this? Paravolley, sitting volleyball?
You can even call it just the World Cup if you would want to
All
as
right.
well.
Fine by me.
That'll make it easier in conversation.
Don't give Sackett tongue twisters today. I'm not very bright. I can't handle it.
So, as you guys are going through this, it's I think what I heard was the last World Cup for this was in Egypt.
Yep. In
Okay.
Cairo.
I thought I made that up for a second there. But can we talk about that? What exactly is this? How big is this event? When is the event? And exactly what the sport is and what it entails.
I'll start with the beginning,
Yeah,
like
go
kind
ahead.
of how it, and then I'll have you take over.
Yeah.
So this actually is a process. If no one has tried to get an event in
Because
their
you have
life,
to solicit to
Yep.
get to
Yeah.
win. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was one of those. So the employee that we had before Reggie joined the team, did a lot of research, like what's coming up, where's the need at. Really looked into it and came across a few events, but this event really, just kind of popped out. It's been over a year ago since we looked at this. We had to submit a bid. The bid process included visit Fort Wayne because there's a lot of documentation. We work really closely with them when these big bids are an opportunity.
Great people there, by the way.
They are.
100%.
They're phenomenal.
Great.
They're great partners of Turnstone.
Yeah.
And so, we had to go through all that. Well, then, their committees have to review all the bids and then, narrow it down to who's going to host it. As they were reviewing it, obviously Fort Wayne, Indiana, Turnstone, what's that? Because you have people from all over the world checking out these bids. So in the Paralympics, Olympics, they refer to a quad because they're every 4 years. So there's quad 1, quad 2, quad 3. This is the first time that they've hosted an international event like this early in the quad because LA 28 is, the next one. So this is kind of even new to them doing it this way. And when we found out we were awarded, that you guys
When
are
did
going
you find out?
Oh, gosh. Was it December, January?
Right around then.
So how pinched were you? Because it seems like a late decision to get it executed now.
Yeah, it makes your heart rate go up a
Yeah,
little bit because you're like,
now I'm just reminding you.
we
and
only,
giving you
yeah,
stress.
thank you. Wow,
That's what I'm here for.
We only have 10 months to now prepare
Yeah.
for an event like this.
Yeah.
So,
what would you have? And it's a trick question, but what would you have hoped for a window? Anything longer than you got?
yes, I believe after we hosted the one in 2019, we kind of had that discussion. It's it'd be good to have at least a year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Instead,
of 10 months.
10 months, all right.
It's a little shorter. Okay.
But yeah, so we've been we hit the ground running, and we have a great local organizing committee that came together, and we're divided into subcommittees. That's just the way an event this size you have to operate.
Yeah.
And so now we're in full swing. So
Yeah, and so to kind of piggyback off a couple of Michelle's points, this event in and of itself, the teams are playing for world ranking points to be able to qualify for LA 28. So it's a stepping stone in a way to get to the Paralympics.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, thank you for bringing that up.
So
I
yeah,
forgot
just
about that.
small clarification,
So,
but-
how does that work? Can you tell me about? So you have to compete probably so many times to get to that threshold of
Yeah,
points.
so it's not necessarily so many times, but as many points as you can gain throughout the
Okay.
different events in that quad. So, for instance, I was out in Denver, I believe that was in April, if not May. They had the Pan Ams, I believe it was,
Yeah.
zonal championships.
Yep.
So I was out there. They had both teams from Team USA, both Brazilian teams, the men's Argentina team, and then both Canadian teams. So those points they were awarded by their completion of that event would play into this as well, and even the seedings for this event. So it's almost a rolling total for all the
Okay.
teams leading into LA 28. So
Okay, and then so how many? How many teams are coming for the event, and from how many countries? You guys have any idea?
Yep. So we've got 20 teams total. We're going to have 6 women and 14 men. Right now, I think total countries was 16. Does that sound right?
15.
15. My
Yeah,
apologies.
15 now.
But then we have international referees coming from, I think, 25-ish different countries. So
Wow.
yeah.
How many people does the stadium hold?
I think total in the Classroom Fieldhouse, we're just shy of 1,000, I want to say, is total capacity.
Okay.
But with the current setup we're going to utilize for this event, we're probably looking at between 300 and 500 per court, with 2 game courts going at each day. So
Simultaneously?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. How much of a battle was it to get it to come to Fort Wayne, or is it just a lot of paperwork and time? Because the governing body is based out of Oklahoma, is that right?
Yes, USA Volleyball's
USA
governing body is at the University of Central Oklahoma, correct.
Okay.
There's obviously the paperwork portion of it, due diligence. We have worked with the University of Central Oklahoma on events. They're our partner when we host the Endeavor Games. So knowing we went to them first,
Okay.
like, are you guys planning on putting in a bid for this? Because, you guys are the national governing body.
Yeah.
It's, you guys take...
You'd be an exercise in futility, probably.
Yeah,
if you-
so so they had thought about it, but they declined the opportunity. So then we moved forward, but that took a lot of hands too. So visit Fort Wayne. We wanted to communicate with them. We have to provide the transportation, the
Oh, yeah.
lodging, the meals. So we touched base with just a lot of people in the community to do you have the capacity to help us with this? Our board of directors had to review everything. Our executive leadership at Turnstone had to review it. The budget's always a big piece of this.
Oh, yeah. And the budget's always wrong, by the way. No matter what you do, it's, we didn't see that one coming. All right.
And this was an event that gave us the opportunity to apply for the bid fund, the state bid fund. So, yeah, there was months of planning and just putting all the pieces together. And then then you have all the MOU, the agreements. So, by the time you get all that ironed out, months had already passed, which kind of kept cutting the timeline down too.
That's what I wanted to ask. Is at what point, was there a point as you're going through this and soliciting this, we want this to be in Fort Wayne, from Egypt to Fort Wayne. And was there a point where you felt like, well, this is squeezing our timeline of execution too much, maybe we better back out?
We just got to the point where it's like, we have to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because time is ticking. Yeah. And that was both on Turnstone's end and World Para Volley, because they have obviously their checklist as well. And hey, we need to let teams and stuff know by this month. And we need to. So, it came to that point.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Correct.
Wow. And then, so as far as the game itself, can you guys talk about the game?
Yeah, so the game, all in all, is exactly the same as you would assume with standing volleyball. The literal only difference is that all the players play seated. Part of their bum has to touch the floor at all times. Outside of that, everything else is exactly the same.
Is the height of the net the same?
So they do lower the net. The women play at 1.05 meters. The men play at 1.15. So sitting on the ground, raising your arm, usually about your elbow. Would be the top of that net. Maybe a little higher.
It's so funny. So the butt has to be on the ground.
Yep.
And that's it. Even if you boost yourself up.
Almost like a crab walk. If you're doing that, they do call a lifting foul.
Okay.
So
So it just I'm learning.
Keeps a very even playing field for everybody. So.
Well, because I remember when I my first collegiate track meet, I was walking out to the track and I saw race walking. And I had never really seen race walking before. And I was like, what is it? I didn't know the rule was that both feet have to be on the ground, or 1 foot on the ground at all times. Mm-hmm. And I learned. Now maybe you guys learned something new. Never know. So you've got that. Are there current rankings on the teams by country?
Yep. So there is an international ranking. I don't believe that it is publicly available, but I think it is being updated for our event to be able to set a lot of those pools and stuff like that.
USA have a shot.
Our women's team is 3-time Paralympic champion,
gold medalist.
So they're coming in with some heat, looking to. Especially having home turf, I think, will be very cool for them. But both teams looked really good when I saw them out in Colorado. Excited to see what they can do here in October.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong here, is it uncommon for the United States to host these types of events, let alone Indiana?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first time the United States has hosted this event. So that's just a monument for Fort Wayne, Indiana, to be the one hosting it.
Wow. Did the committee that makes the decision, did they tell you guys where you were lacking or where you were excelling?
Yeah.
I didn't know if they, helped you along the process to say, hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. So, after we submitted the bid document, there's a lot of back and forth communication. So, they came back with their checklist too, like, could you clarify this? Or, what did you mean by this? Because obviously they want to make sure too, where are we excelling or where can we maybe, enhance it a little bit. But the communication with them has been really strong, which has helped as well because even though we have hosted an international event, they're not parallel to each other.
Yeah.
So, questions we had then are not the same questions we have now.
And so as far as how surprised were you? Did you think that you were going to get it?
Fingers were highly crossed because we didn't want to say it with 100% confirmation, but with the communication that we were getting from them, it definitely looked and sounded pretty positive.
Yes.
Okay.
But you can't plan on anything until you definitely get that. Yes,
Get a
you guys
signature.
have it. Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Are you guys? And this is just a little bit of a curveball, probably. But have you guys looked into, or is somebody going to look into post to see if there was an economic impact to the greater Fort Wayne area because of this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that actually has to be even kind of submitted on the document. So there are those
wow.
forecasting
Yep.
of what it could be.
Okay.
Currently, the estimated economic impact is like $2.3 million.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Once you have all those teams and everything here, even though we're providing meals, they might want to try a Fort Wayne restaurant or shopping is huge.
Yeah.
They love to buy
Yes.
things here and take them home with them. So
Best Buy is a hot spot for international athletes.
Really?
Because just all the options we have here compared to some of the other countries with
Oh,
the
I
technology
suppose.
and stuff. Yeah.
The athletes are all taking TVs. So I want to watch myself when I get there, so you might as well.
And so, as far as the economic impact is always a tough one to calculate because you don't, you can take your best guess at it, but if something really goes over, what the heck? Were you guys also soliciting sponsorships? Like DeBrand or anybody like that? Or
Yep. So we have actually two different sides of that same coin. We have some sponsorships that actually came from World Para Volley. So Molten is their ball manufacturer. Sanoa will be the equipment sponsor. Gerflor is their Terraflex. It'd be the court material, their sponsor there. So we were kind of provided from World Para Volley a couple of the main sponsors. But on a similar note, our development team has done a great job at reaching out to here in the local community, finding sponsors, even for things just as small as even providing water bottles for the event and stuff like that. So been very blessed.
we'll get you some NEI branded water bottles. I'd give you guys some NEI branded beer, but I don't think it'd be any good.
Today, our studio is on the road because we are currently at our 2025 Pioneer Awards event. Each spring, we host an awards event to celebrate our region's pioneers. And just like our podcast, this event aims to showcase and share the authentic stories of the people in our region. This summer and fall, we're going to have open nominations for our Pioneer nominees. If you know someone who embodies the pioneer spirit and is creating positive change in the community, we would invite you to nominate them so that they can share their story. Then, just like this year, we're going to be celebrating all of the nominees at our Pioneer Awards event, which, speaking of, our 2025 Pioneer is about to be announced, so I have to go. But before I go, if you're in the Northeast Indiana region, we encourage you to check out our website at pioneerstartshere.com. That's pioneerstartshere.com. Now, let's get back to the podcast.
I saw that you brought a ball.
Yes, sir.
I'm so excited about this.
This is the international standard ball for sitting volleyball.
Wow.
Actually, just arrived yesterday with 120 other ones, so we're ready to go now.
Did we get to keep this one? No.
Unfortunately, not.
I saw
but
that look on his face. All right, forget
I
it.
wish I could.
It feels a lot different, and also it feels smaller in size.
Yep,
Is that
so
right?
slightly smaller and a different texture compared to your standard, like a high school volleyball.
Yeah, and Molten.
Yep.
Okay, I know. Where's Molten based out of?
I can't say that for sure. I know that the balls were produced in Japan.
Okay. Yeah, it's not what I expected.
No.
I don't know what I expected, to be honest with you. But
when you have the World Para, the logos on there too.
Yep. So that'd be the national governing body, World Para Volley.
Brought to you by Jonathan Sackett and the Northeast Indiana Regional Park. So as far as we've talked about what you guys had to go through to get this, and now does this set the stage for us? I'm saying us collectively here to get more additional sports because you've checked this box, or is there a chance that we might not do as great as we could have on some sections, and that could hurt us? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would definitely lean more towards this opening the door. If anything, it kind of works as a showcase for what Fort Wayne can do, what we can do as Turnstone, and our corporate partners that are being very generous with all of this.
Let me ask you guys this. Let's see if this is a curveball, you guys. What is your biggest fear / concern about the event itself?
I don't even want to put it in the world, but flight cancellations.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood. No, that's right now. It's my biggest fear is just that what if of flights, travel, that kind of stuff. And it's 1,000% out of our hands.
It's logistics.
That's
not you.
I think that's the biggest one. But again, can't get overworked about it because I can't do anything about it in the meantime. Right. So,
there's always the fear. As we are approaching, you can tell everyone's just like the adrenaline's starting to get there, and we know it's a countdown. But you also have to go into it, no matter how much, even if we had a year and a half to plan it, it's not going to be perfect because things just happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if you host any event or anything, things just happen.
Yeah. You have to anticipate the unanticipatable. I guess.
Right.
They're going to get a curveball. Something's going to happen, and I hope to God it's not the flights or something like that. Because if they can't even get here, well, then we're in trouble. It's just getting all of those. How many people do you guys have planning on this right now? Because again, hotels, logistics, transportation, water.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there's a heck of a lot more to it. How many full-time people are working on this right now?
Say our local organizing committee is roughly between 35 people total.
Okay.
Some in big capacities, some in very minute direct capacities. But outside of that, even World Para Volley, all of the partners that are working with us between to your point, transportation, hotels, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of hands in on this for sure. Very thankful for everybody's help too.
Yeah. And I'll elaborate. So the LOC that he mentioned is primarily Turnstone staff with Visit Fort Wayne on there as well. But when you go beyond that, there's, again, many organizations that are helping. Some leadership Fort Wayne groups are jumping in. We're going to be utilizing 6 hotels in the community. So we're trying to dial in transportation, what we're doing there. Meals, we're providing lunch and dinner for them. So we are partnering with many other people on the meals too. So the list is probably longer than what we could even try to rattle off. And I don't want to miss anybody either because we appreciate all of them for their help.
Oh, yeah. Well, I all I can say is you guys don't screw it up.
Oh, thanks.
No
pressure.
I'll do my best.
Pressure.
Hey,
I can guarantee, though, you won't know if we did. Just come out and have fun and watch it.
I have complete faith in you guys. So can we talk about the dates and contact for you guys? Are you just before we get into? Are you guys still soliciting help at all or volunteers?
Yep. So you can actually go to turnstone.org. Then they'll go to the volunteer tab.
Did you see how these two lit up when I asked that? Turnstone.org.
Yep. And then the volunteer tab, and there's a link right there to be able to sign up for World Para Volley. In need of people in kind of all different aspects, even helping in the dining hall, helping on a practice court, even rolling the balls to the people as they serve and being on court. Need a lot of help in a lot of different areas, and signups are available online as we speak. So
okay, that's great.
Yes,
I think you're going to get some volunteers out of this. Honestly,
and look forward to meeting them as well.
And what are the dates?
So the event dates, competition days are October 12th through the 18th, but teams are arriving on the 8th, and they will practice the 9th, 10th, and 11th. That duration also helps. They do classification, so they do basically go in and they do testing for World Para Volley to establish their abilities in the sport.
As far as accessibility and where we rank, And the answer that I get is almost always the same no matter who I ask. We can do better. We can do better. But obviously we had to make a checklist for this to happen, for this event to take place. Can you just talk a little bit about that, your thoughts on accessibility, how good or how Fort Wayne could improve on that? Do you guys have thoughts on that?
I'll let you go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I can ditto. We can always do better. That's for sure. So what I think is pretty awesome is, Visit Fort Wayne has that 10-year tourism plan, if people aren't aware of that.
It's a 10-year rolling plan on top of it.
Yes, yeah. And so staff from Turnstone, including myself, were part of like those focus groups leading into that. And of course, accessibility to Turnstone and the league and AWS are, very high priority items. But community-wide, from everyone else who is there at those focus groups, the number one thing on the list ended up being accessibility.
Yeah. That wasn't a surprise, I'm sure, right?
No, but it's just, to me, I was just excited to see that. Like, everyone sees how important it is because you don't have to have a disability in order for it to be accessible.
Yeah.
If my parents get to the point where it's hard for them to go watch their grandkids play a game, that needs to be accessible for them to get there. So it doesn't matter who you are, what age you are, the accessibility is always there. I think because of that, it has become a priority. I mean, if you look at the Fort Wayne Airport, they're doing some major construction to make it more accessible. So, I mean, and people can reach out to us and even the other organizations that we listed, if they're afraid of how could we be more accessible or, we have been able to participate in those kind of things. I actually just last week or 2 weeks ago was at a webinar or a conference where they had multiple organizations and they were talking about accessibility versus universal design. And then at the very end, they kind of did so what did you take away from this? Like, what can you take back to your employer to make changes? And there were multiple. Yeah. Like, everyone is starting to get into that frame of mind of what can we do? So, always can do better, but I think we're definitely on a good stretch of seeing people really, the buy-in.
Is really exciting, and I think that this is good for all of Fort Wayne, and I think what you guys are doing is very important, and as do you, of course. But I think what we see as an outsider is it makes us even more accessible and even more welcoming as a community here, and I think that's important. And I think that you don't see like the way we promote ourselves and the way we promote the region. We actually that's a whole section of our promotion. And improvement on that. There's no finish line. Yep. There's never going to be a finish line to accessibility. And I think that's the way that we look at it here. And that's why we're so excited and glad to help. So I'm going to get into the last bit here, which is the rapid wrap-up in a second here. But I did want to say I'm super happy for you guys. This the World Paravolley Sitting Volleyball World Cup, which we're just going to call it the World Cup, is coming. I can't be more excited. You will see us there for sure, me and the team.
Awesome.
In fact, you can try to kick us out, but it's not going to work because we're coming and we're going to work. We're going to help.
Say hi, even if we're running around like crazy.
Hey, quick question for you. This guy. I'm that guy, by the way.
So the rapid wrap-up, we usually do a rapid fire and get your favorite things around here and kind of get your litmus test on the area. So Coney Island hot dogs or DeBrand fine chocolates?
DeBrand's.
Coney Island all the way.
There you go.
Okay, why did I know you were going to say that?
If you could bring another event to Fort Wayne, what would it be?
Ooh.
And it could be anything.
I could say off the top of my head, if there's ever an opportunity to do the rivalry series, USA sled hockey against Canada, I think that would be awesome with the hockey interest we do have here in Fort Wayne. I think that would be very cool.
I'm thinking of it a little bit differently. I would like to have something where maybe you have Olympians and Paralympians here together so people can actually see these are still elite athletes and they are just as parallel to their skills and competition as the Olympians are.
Yeah.
Instead of having two separate, like why not have an Olympic volleyball game on one court and a Paralympic sitting volleyball on another court or something like that. So I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Those are both great answers. I love it. What's your favorite activity to do in Northeast Indiana?
Northeast Indiana is so big.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of
I went
good
more
options.
local. I said the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo.
Okay.
I mean, I've always loved going there with my family. And
Yeah,
so
I've been there twice.
There you
So
I'd say for me, honestly, going to sports events at the Coliseum, whether it's PFW, basketball, hockey, I mean, Matt Ants previously, I think that's just being a big sports guy. That's one of my things I look forward to every year. So.
I got to tell you, I've been to one hockey game here, and that place turns into a zoo, and it was
They call it the
awesome.
jungle, man.
The jungle.
I got to
It's for
tell you,
purpose,
it was so much fun. And again, I'm coming from Chicago, where you got sports is ingrained there, and coming here and just seeing the excitement and the enthusiasm has been contagious for me too. So
100%.
I love it. And then, do you guys have a favorite festival in Northeast Indiana that you go to every year?
Oh, here's a plug, Johnny Appleseed.
Because you know it's coming up right now. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Typically, I'm an attendee to German Fest.
Okay.
One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah, well, because I live down here at the Promenade
Yeah.
apartment, so I can just walk over.
That's awesome.
And we can hear the concerts and everything right from my balcony. So it's one of those advantages to being a more mid-sized city that you have you have access to things that you wouldn't. In Chicago, if you want to go to a festival, it's going to take a couple hours to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just you don't really have a choice.
Yeah.
And I think that was the last question that I had for you guys, but I just wanted to reiterate, it's turnstone.org
Yes.
is where you want people to go. Still looking for volunteers for this. We're coming down to the wire. You guys don't seem overly nervous. I think you guys feel like you're in good shape, or at least you got a good poker face. Is that what it is? But I can't. I'm so thrilled and happy to have our team helping you guys out wherever we can to promote this. And I think what you guys are doing is so important. And it's an honor. So I would personally say thank you to you guys for what you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
You bet. Okay, our friends from Turnstone. Thanks, everybody.